For 36 years, Steve Sack has used his artistic talents to express opinions on many different people and issues.
Now you can find many of his best in the new book, The First and Only Book of Sack, 36 years of cartoons for the Star Tribune. We're so happy to have editorial cartoonist Steve Sack with us here on Mid-Morning. Steve, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for
Pulitzer Prize winner, nominee several times.
Yes.
Anything compared to the kind of material you're getting right now?
This is unprecedented. This is a 24/7 fire hose of crazy.
When did you decide to start putting this group together to make the book?
I've never been interested in putting a book together. I always wanted to concentrate on new material, new projects. But for our 150th anniversary, the Star Tribune wanted to celebrate in many ways, and I'm part of it.
It's kind of nice, right?
It's very nice.
Yeah. Editorial cartoons is, honestly, it's a profession that in many ways is starting to slowly fade as newspapers get rid of that. How did you get your start?
Well, I got my start at the University of Minnesota. I was a student. I needed a part-time job, so I applied to become an illustrator. And when I saw
at the Daily?
At the Minnesota Daily, yes. And when I saw that the cartoonist was being paid more than the illustrators, I waited for my chance and I hopped into that chair.
Pretty perfect. And when you go and you kind of hear maybe a press conference or now a tweet that comes out, how long does it take you for the process to go through making that cartoon?
Well, I draw one cartoon per day, so I spend half of my day doing research and the other half trying to draw.
Do you have to, kind of like maybe the front page designers do, sometimes tear it up and say, I got something better, or can you defer a day?
Well, sometimes the news happens so fast that I do have to make changes, but that's pretty rare, maybe a couple times a year.
And the president seemed to be a pretty common target. We've got a couple of examples of some of the editorial cartoons that you've done. Maybe a more recent one, President Trump here. When
you came up with the way of drawing President Trump, I suppose he has a couple of defining characteristics that make it, you want to accentuate that as a cartoonist, right?
Yeah, he has a very interesting face, and he's very expressive. And in any speech, he'll be scowling, smiling, grimacing, every expression you can think of. So I have a lot of material to work with.
Does that make your job more fun when you get to have someone with that?
That's the fun part for me, the drawing.
President Bill Clinton here, his nose wasn't really that big, Steve. Well, you had a lot of material there, too, I think people today forget about.
I draw them like I see them.
Right.
Pretty good. Okay, we have President Obama now, too. There we go. I mean, his face, too, I think it's pretty... There are a couple of characteristics, the ears, for one, that stand out a little bit.
Yes, yes. Everybody has something that bears exaggeration.
Yeah.
Right now I'm thinking about how I would exaggerate your face.
Right.
Oh, what would you do to Jason, not me? My ego can't handle this.
I would make him one handsome devil.
Oh, there we go!
That's very, very smart. Steve knows how to sell his book, doesn't he? That's the way to do it. Do you have a favorite cartoon of any?
I'm asked that quite often, but I don't have a favorite.
Yeah.
I always say they're all my children.
Yeah.
Some of them I want to lock away, but...
they don't always land, right?
I hope to draw my best cartoon next week.
Go see Steve at the Minneapolis Central Library. The Talk of the Stacks is Thursday. The doors open at 6:15. The program is at 7. So it's a pretty big room, but seating is first come, first served. So try to get there early. You get to ask your questions. I think the visual part of your job is fascinating, but you are an editorial cartoonist.
Yes.
So it's the voice that I think has made your work so interesting and enduring.
Well, thank you very much.
So congratulations. I love seeing your stuff every day, and fire hose are crazy. I love that, and very accurate. Thanks, Steve.